What happens when a fantasy franchise learns it can sell the same world to a younger audience? Out of a 50-episode order, a prequel took shape as a half-an-hour spin-off about a legend before he became a legend. So how did a series about the son of Zeus become a top-rated kids show only to vanish after a massive single order? Let's find out. This is the history of Young Hercules.
In an age of light and darkness, Zeus, king of the gods, ruled the universe.
The idea for the series started as a strategic move to squeeze more juice out of the 1990s myth-adventure craze. Following the successes of Hercules, the Legendary Journeys, and Xena, the warrior princess, the suits at Universal wanted a way to open a new daytime and after-school window for the brand. Robert Tapert and Liz Friedman, the minds behind the original hits, invented the core concept. They pitched a hip, young, and stylized show that followed a teenage Hercules during his training years. The project was shopped around until Fox Kids Network inked a massive deal in January '98 for 50 half-hour episodes. With the deal in place, the creative team focused on making the son of Zeus relatable for a younger crowd, turning the myth into a high-stakes coming-of-age story. The producers wanted a version of the hero that felt approachable, so they leaned into the idea of the Academy as a surrogate family. Hercules wouldn't be just fighting monsters, he would be navigating the shadow of a father he never met and a stepmother who wants to erase him from existence. To make this series work, the production needed a lead who could balance demigod muscle with high school charm, but finding that face meant looking past the guy who already handled the job. Ian Bohen originally held the mantle, appearing in the pilot episode and 4 episodes of Hercules, the Legendary Journeys. But when the show moved its base of operations, Bohen left the role as he didn't want to relocate to New Zealand. With the original actor gone, the creators looked toward a new lead from Canada, and they found a 17-year-old kid ready to take the role. So a young Ryan Gosling landed the gig and packed his bags for New Zealand. With a new lead in place, next was the supporting cast, who drew heavily from the established universe to keep the classic flavor. Dino Gorman returned as Iolaus, while Jason's role went to Chris Conrad. Sharon Tyrell stepped in as Hercules' mother, Alcimini. The producers also carried back some of the characters from the original franchise. Kevin Smith reprised his role as Ares, alongside Megan Desmond and Joel Tobeck as Discord and Strife. Jason Hoyt joined the Pantheon as the god Hephaestus, and Alison Bruce appeared as Simula.
He had a son, Young Hercules.
When you're building a world this big, you can't rely just on eyes. You need a sound that hits just as hard. To get that right, the production brought in composer Joseph Loduca, who was the man behind the music for the entire franchise. The sound was so popular that the original television soundtrack was released in '98, giving fans a chance to take those mythic vibes home. The show's music also pulled in a Daytime Emmy nomination, including a nod for Outstanding Sound Editing in 1999 for post-sound supervisor George Haddad and music editor Tim Isle. In front of the camera was myth and monsters. Behind it, though, was math. The show wasn't made in the usual way. Most television series shot 1 episode at a time. Young Hercules didn't do that. It shot in 4-episode blocks. Sets were grouped, locations were reused, actors were scheduled in clusters, and stories didn't have to connect tightly as long as the production plan made sense. That way, the system saved money and time. The full 50-episode run cost roughly $20 million. That covered everything. Shooting in New Zealand helped. Guild regulations were lighter there, which cut costs further. The series was shot on 16mm films instead of more expensive formats. There was also talk of using digital cameras, but the technology wasn't strong enough at the time to make financial sense, so they stayed with film. production was also split across continents. Principal photography happened in New Zealand. Post-production, including visual effects and music editing, was finished in Los Angeles. It was a long-distance pipeline that had to move really fast, and fast was the word. 4 episodes in 13 days. That was the pace. That meant roughly 3 days per episode. There was no luxury, no endless tweaking. You hit your marks and you moved on. There was also movement behind the scenes that changed the crew itself. Early on, special visual effects were conceived by Richard Taylor's Weta workshop. Then, Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings ramped up, and Weta and several crew members stepped away from the show to work on that project. Then, you had a lead actor that was only 17. That meant training was intense. Ryan Gosling went through martial arts sessions with the same trainer who had worked with Lucy Lawless and Kevin Sorbo. He was tall and very thin, which created another production problem. Hercules had to look like Hercules. To fix that issue, the costume department adjusted the design. The darker upper body costume sketches were changed. The chest area was broadened, lighter colors were used to create visual bulk. Makeup was applied to his arms to paint in muscle definition. After filming wrapped, not everything went so smooth. The episodes aired out of order, and that caused continuity problems. Underneath all of that, the show was very loosely based to Greek mythology. It reused characters, it reshaped stories, and it placed ancient figures in situations that weren't actually accurate. According to the producers, this was intentional. It wasn't designed as a documentary. It was a teen action drama wearing myth as armor. When the series was released, it didn't sneak in quietly. It landed in a weekday afternoon slot and also aired on Saturday mornings. Ratings on Fox Kids was strong for the season. In fact, it ranked just below the Power Rangers. Now this is where things got interesting. Even with the strong performance inside Fox Kids' lineup, the series was not renewed beyond its original 50-episode order. So unlike many other series, this one didn't collapse due to ratings. The order was completed, it performed well, and it still didn't continue. Critically, the series was never swimming in heavy newspaper reviews. But inside the industry, it earned respect. In 2000, Shari Goodhart earned a Writers Guild of America nomination for Outstanding Children's Script for the episode Hindsight. After the series ended in 1999, the series didn't just vanish into a vault, it just took its time finding a shelf. For years, there wasn't a major release that gave fans the full set in one place. But in 2015, that finally changed. The complete series was released on DVD for the first time. Sadly, the series hasn't received the HD treatment, and as of recording this video, there is no Blu-ray releases of the series. Now for fans who want to add the series to their collection, I've added a link in the description below, and there should also be a card popping up on screen to help you check it out.
Young Hercules longs to find his place in the world, the father he's never known.
Young Hercules never exploded into a cult legend. It settled into something a bit quieter. It proved that the myth-adventure formula could shift tone and still function inside the kids' block. It took a character already known as a grown warrior and reframed him as a student trying to earn that status. The idea alone carved out its own corner in a larger universe. In industry terms, the show became a case study. It was used in discussions about how to produce television efficiently by shooting in blocks of 4. The rotation system, the shared sets, the compressed schedule, all of that became part of its reputation behind the curtain. It showed how a 50-episode order could be completed fast without collapsing under its own weight. Then there is the cast effect. At the time, Ryan Gosling was a teen lead carrying a myth show on weekday television. Years later, that credit became something people rediscovered once his film career exploded. The same goes for the New Zealand production base. The series sits in the production history of Auckland studios during the period when the Hercules and Xena brand local crew experience. So the legacy is layered. It wasn't the flagship of the franchise. It wasn't the longest running branch, but it demonstrated that the Hercules brand could stretch into new age brackets and new scheduling slots without breaking. And we're not done yet. Next time, we leave swords and gods behind and step into a world where two very different roommates try to survive culture shock, chaos, and one very unforgettable catchphrase. Until then, why don't you check out our previous video on Martin? Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.